Hi everyone, welcome to the course Become a Business Analyst, Your Path to Success. As discussed earlier, this course is structured based on BABOK guide and is divided into 9 comprehensive modules. We have already completed Module 1 and Module 2. Module 1 provides an introduction to business analysis specially designed for those from non-IT backgrounds or those who are new to the field. Module 2 focuses on the BABOK knowledge area strategy analysis, where we explored how to define business needs, access organizational capabilities, and recommend effective solution. We are currently in Module 3. In the previous tutorial, that is business analysis planning and monitoring, we explored how to plan business analysis activities, monitor their progress, and manage stakeholder engagement effectively. For simplicity, each tutorial video is marked sequentially, making it easy for you to follow. If you have any doubts or need any refresher, feel free to visit the specific tutorial covering that topic. All relevant documents and helpful links are available in the video description for quick access. Now let's move to one of the most important area of business analyst during a project. In tutorial 9, Stakeholder Analysis, we will explore the importance of stakeholder analysis and the key methods used to identify and access the stakeholder effectively. So without further ado, let's dive into tutorial 9. Before we dive into stakeholder analysis, let me clarify one thing. We already covered who is stakeholder in detail back in tutorial 5. If you are unsure about the concept of stakeholders, I recommend revisiting that tutorial first. You will find the link in the description. Now let's move on understanding stakeholder analysis in depth. Stakeholder analysis is all about figuring out below questions. First, who is directly involved in the project, which means that who are the people actually working on the project. If we take example of this particular stakeholder, then it comes team members, business analysts, project managers, then developers, or anyone doing the work. Then next is who has vested interest in its outcome. Well, in other words, we can say that who really cares about whether the project succeeds or fails. In this category, we can consider stakeholders like company executives, department heads, then clients who needs the project to meet certain goal. So we need to identify such stakeholder here. Then the next is who has the power to influence its success or direction. So here it is all about who can make decisions or change the effect of the project. So these are the powerful people, influential people in the project. So such stakeholders are like senior managers who can approve the budgets, then a regulator who can set the rule the project must follow. So these are the stakeholders, those who are powerful, those who are influential, they have the ability to change the direction of entire project, are considered in this particular category. Then the next and last is who may be impacted by the project result. In simple word, who will feel the effect of the project once it's done. In this category, the stakeholder comes end users of the new system or software, then the customer who will use this particular system or software, or other department that will use the new process. So this, in this way, we find out who means find out the stakeholder. This is the very beginning of the stakeholder analysis. In short, in stakeholder analysis, we figure out how much power they have, what they care about, and how involved they should be. Based on that, we decide how often to update them and how closely to keep them in loop during the project. In the industry, there are several popular methods for stakeholder analysis, including the stakeholder list, power interest matrix, and RACI matrix. Each of these tools helps in identifying and understanding stakeholder roles and their level of influence or interest. We will explore this method to gain a clear understanding of stakeholder dynamics. Before that, let's check steps of stakeholder analysis. Very first step is identify stakeholder. Here figure out who connected to the project, people who are working on it, care about it, and might be affected by the entire project. So here we identify the stakeholder. Then next is analyze their interest. Here we try to understand what each stakeholder want from the project, what matters to them, and what they expect from us during the project. In third step, we access influence and power. Here we check how much say or control each person or group has. In short, can they make big decisions or change the direction? So here we access their influence and their power in the within the organization. And the fourth stage is classify stakeholder. Once we have all the data within the organization, now it's up to us to classify them. Here we group them based on how much they care and how much power they have. This help you to see who to focus on more. Means once we have all the data, then once we classify them into the according to their power or influence, then it definitely help us to whom to focus and to whom to not. Then the fifth is develop engagement plans. Here we decide how we will keep each stakeholder informed and involved. Some need, means there are some there are some stakeholder who need regular update. There are some who require just a check-in, means once in a week or once within a 15 days we can update them. But there are very other there are some stakeholder also to who need a daily update, something like that. So we according to that we will create our engagement plan with each and every stakeholder. So these are the 5 main steps involved in stakeholder analysis, and according to this we will work. Now let's move to next. Here we will see why stakeholder analysis is important. Very first importance of stakeholder analysis that it enhances the communication, which means that it makes sure the right info gets to the right people when they need it, so everyone stays in the loop. This helps avoid confusion and keeps the project on track. Then the next importance is that it aligns expectation, which means that it helps avoid conflicts by figuring out what stakeholder need or expect from the start. It ensures everyone is on the same page from the beginning. Next is stakeholder analysis helps to support decision making, which means that here we focuses on the most important stakeholders and give them the attention they required. This leads to more informed and effective decision making. Then mitigate risk. Due to stakeholder analysis, we can spot potential issues or pushback early, so we can tackle them before they even become a problem. So this proactive approach reduces surprise down the road. So we can easily mitigate the risk by stakeholder analysis. And the last and most important is improve project success. Here we build trust and teamwork and making the project run more smoothly and successfully. When stakeholder feels involved, they more likely to support the project. In short, we can say that stakeholder analysis is key to keeping projects on track. It helps businesses understand who matters most, what they care about, and how to keep everyone happy. By doing this, project runs smoother, risks are lowered, and the chances of success go way up. So this is the importance of stakeholder analysis. Now let's move to the next. Finally, we come how to learn identifying stakeholders. Here, effective stakeholder identification requires categorizing stakeholders by key characteristics. We will see each characteristics along with its consideration. Very first is based on roles. Here, stakeholders are identified by their functional or organizational roles within the project or organization. The key consideration while identification are: what is the stakeholders' position in the organization, how are they connected to the project goals, and these stakeholders are internal or external. Means internal includes employees and management, and external stakeholders are vendors, then regulators, and the customer also. If you have any doubt about internal and external stakeholder, please visit tutorial 5, link is in the description. Now the next is based on attitude. Well, this is very interesting characteristics. Here, stakeholders are analyzed for their stance or perspective towards the project, which can range from supportive to resistance. Means in the industry, you will find such people, those who are supportive and those who are resist to the change. The key consideration while identifying such stakeholder are they advocates or detractors of the project? Means whether they are means whether they are very much into the project, they want to see the success of project, or someone who are only talk about negative things about the project. So in this way we need to identify the stakeholder. Then what are their level of enthusiasm or skepticism? Means whether they are enthusiastic or they are just not happy, every time negative kind of things. Such stakeholders here we need to identify. Then are they likely to cooperate or cause resistance? So on this basis, such kind of attitude, we need to identify the stakeholder, and we need to take much care about such kind of stakeholders, those who are give the resistance to the change as well. Means it's not like that we need to completely avoid them, or we are always in the mode of complaining about them. It's not like that. We need to handle them very carefully, and this is the skill of business analyst, which comes with experience. And the third is based on decision making authority. Here, some stakeholder holds direct authority to make or approve critical project decision, and these are very important stakeholder who has ability to make the decisions. The key consideration involves are, do they have budgetary or strategic decision making power? Means they decide the budget of the project, they can decide the strategic changes which we need to make in the project. So this consideration we need to taken care. Then are they part of executive or management team? Means if they are an executive team or they are from the management team, according to their role we need to handle them very carefully. And can they approve or veto project outcome? Means again we need to based on their decision making authority, we need to understand whether they are approve or they are veto the project outcome. This is the something which we need to consider while identifying the stakeholder. And last characteristics is based on power or influence. These are the stakeholder with high power or influence, can significantly affect the project success even if they are not directly involved in the project. The key consideration here are, do they control resources, budget or approval processes? Means again the budget come, then the approval processes, are these are the people, do they have really this kind of power? We need to identify. Then can they impact project timeline or organizational priorities? Means these are the one who can change the project timeline, they can prioritize which tasks need to come first, which they want first and which they want later. Such kind of power or influence these people have, or these stakeholders have. And do they influence other stakeholders also? Means the other category of stakeholder, they have that much of influence that they can manipulate them. So on the basis of this we need to identify the stakeholder. First we need to their role, we need to check their attitude, we need to check their decision making authority and their power and influence as well. Well, we have already discussed identifying stakeholder early is very super important. It helps us to know who is involved, who makes decision and who affected by the project. This way we can keep the right people in the loop and avoid surprises later. We have already discussed this. It also sets the stage for better communication and a smoother teamwork. So by identifying stakeholder very early in the stage, we can run the project very smoothly. So this is the importance of stakeholder analysis, and this is the way through via which we can identify the stakeholder as well. Now let's check few methods of stakeholder analysis. Stakeholder list. This is very first method every business analyst usually applies before moving on to other techniques. Stakeholder list is very simple, clear and gives a solid starting point. As we have done it for Noah Major Bank, we can see that we have added full name, role, email ID, responsibility, phone number, and availability. Well, this list can be customized by adding or removing columns based on the project needs, but personally I feel role and responsibility should be there. So in short, stakeholder list is pretty self-explanatory. We can say that stakeholder list helps in organizing key people involved in or affected by the project in one place. It gives clarity on each stakeholder's role, interest, and level of influence. It helps to plan communication by identifying who needs what information and when, and it supports tracking stakeholder expectation, concern, and engagement as well. Well, one more important thing, that stakeholder analysis, a stakeholder list lays a foundation for deeper analysis in the stakeholder, like power interest matrix and RACI matrix. Means on with the help of stakeholder list we can use this particular thing in other method like power interest matrix and RACI matrix as well. Now let's see second method of stakeholder analysis, importance versus influence matrix, or it is also known as stakeholder map. The importance versus influence matrix is a tool used to classify stakeholders based on two key factors. First is importance. It is the extent to which a stakeholder interest align with the project's goals and their level of dependency on the project outcome. And next is influence. It is stakeholders' ability to affect the project decisions, processes, or outcomes through their authority, resources, and relationship. As we have seen what is importance and influence, let's plot importance versus influence matrix. As we can see that on the y-axis level of importance, and for on the x-axis it is level of influence. Now first is low importance and low influence. They are categorized as minimal effort, means we need to put minimum effort on such stakeholder. These stakeholders have little interest in or impact on the project. The engagement strategy for such stakeholder would be monitor them periodically but avoid over allocating resources. Means we need not to give the too much time to such stakeholder, because they have very less interest and influence in the outcome of the particular system. For example, let us consider in every company there are marketing managers. They only need information for internal update and branding alignment. They are not means they are not one who are the get directly affected by the system outcome, and their influence is very minimal. They can't tell us how to design it, how to deliver it, something like these things are not in their hands. So these are the low importance and low influence as per the importance versus influence matrix. We need to categorize them in this way. Then next is low importance and high influence. These are the observer. We need to manage them very closely. For these means these stakeholders have the power to impact the project but are less directly affected by its outcome. Means they can impact the project, but they are not very much affected by the project outcome. They don't care what are the outcome they come. They have the different role which is parallel to the particular system. The engagement strategy for such stakeholder is that keep them satisfied with updates to avoid conflicts or resistance. Means it is very important that we need to satisfy them, because they may become blockers if their concerns are not addressed. The best example for such a category is that cyber security officer. They are less involved in daily use, but their interest is in the data protection and the risk which is involved in the data breaching activity. So that's why their role is up to restricted up to data protection. So influence is that if we are not applying the proper data protection policy in our system, then they can enforce strict security standards and delay the launch of the system. Means they can, if they are not satisfied that you are not performing any particular regulation for the data protection, so they can delay the launch of any particular software or system. So as we have considered that they have low importance but their influence is very high, so we need to manage them very closely. Then the next is high importance and low influence. These are the supporters. Means this stakeholder depend on the project success but lack of the authority to significantly influence its outcome. These are the project, we can consider that these are the someone who are the end user of the system. They are directly get affected by the outcome of the projects. That's why they have the high importance, because we are creating the system, we are creating the software for these end users, but their influence is very low. The engagement strategy for such stakeholder would be keep them informed and ensure their needs as address. They are often valuable advocates for the project, means they always promote the project, they are valuable for the project, but they have the low influence. Means the if we take the example, we consider it as a loan operation manager. Means these are the agent who directly go to the customer and promote the loan for the particular bank, or convince the customer to take the loan. These are the loan operation manager who are going to use the end system, whatever loan management system we are creating. These are the one who are going to use it. So the importance for this is that they are key to making sure the system works very well and daily loan processing, but they don't have influence. They are limited decision and making power. But as a stakeholder, we need to keep them satisfied, because we need to gather the important requirement from such stakeholder. And the last is high importance and high influence. Well, these stakeholders, means as it suggested, these are the key players in the project. These stakeholders have a strong interest in the project success, as well as they have power to shape the direction. They are interested in the interested in the project, as well as they have the ability, or they have the power to shape the direction. Means if we consider engagement strategy, we need to engage them very closely, involve in every decision making, and maintain frequent communication, as it suggested that they have high importance and high influence. If we consider the example, then we consider as a product manager of our loan management system, because product manager makes sure the loan management system meets business needs and is delivered successfully. Well, product manager is lead the project and drive all major decisions. So we can say that product manager or product owner is the influence person in the project as well. So as I suggested that these are the key player. So in this way we can categorize into four way: low importance, low influence, low importance, high influence, and high importance, low influence, and finally key players, high importance and high influence as well. Well, it is easy to assume that business analysts should only focus on the stakeholder with high influence and high importance, because we can say that we can clearly see that these are the key players, but that's not the entire truth. As we saw in the loan management example, every stakeholder brings some value, no matter their whatever the position they hold. Even a small input from someone with lower influence can lead to major improvements in the system. As a business analyst, we need to listen carefully each and every one and consider all perspective to build well-rounded solution. Now let us check another method of stakeholder analysis. Well, RACI matrix is not another method of stakeholder analysis. This is most popular way to understand and manage your stakeholder. A RACI matrix is a chart that helps make it clear who is doing what in project or task. It shows who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. This helps avoid confusion and make sure everyone knows their role, which improves teamwork and accountability. So let's check first responsible. Here are these are the person who perform the work or task. There can be a multiple individual assigned as responsible. In short, responsible means the person or a people who actually do the work. They are the ones getting the task done. Let's say the task is, means let us, we are considering the example, let's say the task is to gather the requirement for new system for any banking app or for any internal software as well. In this case, the person who will be the responsible for this to gathering the requirement for this case, we can consider that the business analyst is the one who will gather the requirement from any other person or any stakeholders. So which means that BA is the one who actually does the work of taking to stakeholder, like talking work to talking to stakeholder like managers, users or client. Means stakeholder is the one who will talk with the this particular stakeholder and asking them the questions, understanding what they need and writing everything down clearly in the document. And this document helps the rest of the team to know exactly what they want to build. So the BA is the one making it all happen. That's why they are the responsible for gathering the requirement. I hope now you are getting the point exactly what is the responsible. Means these are the one who actually do the work as per the task. Means there are different responsible person in the organization. Means let us consider the developer. The role responsibility of developer is coding. His responsibility is different, and stakeholders responsibility is the business analyst responsibility is different, but their responsibility differs, but they are the one who are assigned to do some task. Then the next is accountable. Accountable means the person who makes sure the work gets done properly. The person ultimately, these are the person ultimately answerable for the completion of the task. They are not directly involved into task. They are not the one, they are not the one people who who do the task, but their responsive their work is to get the work done from the other. These are the and the most important, there is only one accountable individual per task or deliverable. So there should be not more than one accountable person, means because their role is that to get work done from others. So if there are 2 3 4 5 accountable person, then the responsible, the one who are doing the work, may get confused. So you think, let us take the example gathering requirement, another task, another same example, we are considering the task that gathering the requirement for new system. Then in that case, who will be the accountable? Well, accountable should be project manager. The project manager doesn't do the actual work of gathering requirement, means he is not the responsible person is business analyst, but the project manager is the one making sure it gets done properly and on time. So his job is to get task done from other, because if something goes wrong like a delay or missing information, then the PM is the one who has to explain it. So even if they are not doing the work, they are responsible for the final result. See how the role changes according, how the role and their importance in the project change. We can see here there are some person who are responsible, there are few person who are accountable. So in this way, we need to see what is responsible and accountable. Then the next is consulted. These are the one, those whose input is sought for their expertise or advice. They are active, actually they are, such stakeholder are actively involved in discussion and decision making. In short, consulted refers to the person or a group of people who are asked for advice or opinion during the task. They don't do the work, but their input is needed to make decision or solve the problem. They are like the experts or advisors in the process. They are not means the word itself explaining that consultancy, you have heard this thing. So these are the consulted people. They are the expert in particular thing, and they will not work, but their word is very important. You think them as the people you ask for guidance before making a final choice or moving forward with something as simple as that. Again, we will take the same example, gathering the requirement for new banking application. Then who to consult as a business analyst, I'll consult technical team, then end user, then what that loan operation manager, such I will consult all these people. The business analyst talks to the technical team and end user to understand their needs, while the BA does the actual gathering of the requirement, but they need to consult the tech team for how things should work technically and the users for what they actually need from the system. See, it is very simple. There are two different type of stakeholder we will consider: end user and technical team. End user are someone who are going to use, they want something to build in this way, and the technical team is going to build that particular thing. Okay, means that particular software, they know how to build it. So as a business analyst, we need to consult both of them. In actually in the requirement gathering, they are only give their expertise, so that's why they are considered as a consulted. So consulted are someone who not doing the work, but their advice is crucial for getting it right. Then the last is inform, those who are kept updated on programs or outcomes. They are not directly involved in the task but need to be aware of its status. In short, informed refers to the people who needs to stay updated on the progress of the task but don't need to take any action or make decision. They are kept in the loop and receive information about what is happening. So you can think them, one of them, as one who receive the update but aren't directly involved doing the work or making any kind of situation. Let us consider same example, gathering the requirement. Here informed person would be senior management. They are considered as a informed because they are not involved in any kind of decision, means technical decisions or any other thing. So here the project manager, product owner, then technical team, user, these are directly involved in the project, whereas the senior management, they don't care about such a small thing, because it is they are under their umbrella, there are lots of things are going on, but their interest, but as a stakeholder, as they are one of our stakeholder, it's our responsibility to inform them. So same for the stakeholder analysis, the business same for the requirement gathering for new app. The business analyst and project manager will keep senior management and their other stakeholder informed about the requirement gathering process is going. See here, with business analyst, project manager is also with him, to pass the information to the senior management. They will share update like when the requirement are ready or if there are any major issues are going on. Even though these people are important, they are not directly involved in the actual work of gathering requirement, they just need to know what is going on. So they are informed, means informed meaning they can keep in the loop but don't need to take any action during the process. So in this way we can we have understand what is responsible, accountable, consulted and inform. Now let's check benefits of RACI matrix. First, clarify of roles. RACI matrix helps to eliminate confusion about responsibilities, ensuring everyone knows their role. Then next is improve accountability. RACI matrix helps designates a single accountable person, making it clear who owns the task. Means here we are very much clear to whom we need to report and who is accountable for the task. Then third is efficient communication. RACI matrix helps in define who needs to be consulted or informed, which prevents unnecessary meetings. Then another importance is that it conflict resolution. It helps to resolve dispute by clarifying expectation and decision making authority. And last, enhance project success. RACI matrix helps us to streamline workflow and reduces delays caused by unclear ownership. So these are the benefits of RACI matrix, and that's why this is most popular stakeholder analysis method in the industry. Now that we have explored the details of the RACI matrix and its importance, let's cement this knowledge with an example from the loan management system. Now we'll first see the practical inside here. The scenario is that Nova Major Bank is the client who's seeking to implement the loan management system, whereas the Tech Global Lab is the software company developing the loan management system where you works as a business analyst. So we have built the story like this, and goal is that you need to work closely with various stakeholders from the Nova Major Bank to ensure the requirement are well defined and documented so that it can be aligned with business goals. Now let's check what exactly stakeholder from Nova Major Banks comes into play. Well, you can identify one thing. To make it more realistic, let's tie it into some names from the Suits TV series. Just like how each character in the Suits play a unique role, the RACI matrix can define the clear responsibility in the loan management system. Here we can see the various stakeholder name along with their role. It is just a fun part that I choose this name, and you can read it in detail one by pausing the video. Well, first is a product manager. He is the accountable one making final decision. We have put Harvey into accountable position. So accountable means in this particular six name we are seeing the six role we are seeing. Harvey is the one who is the accountable. Then next is loan operation manager. Well, these are the responsible for handling day to day task. So loan operation manager means the agent who goes to the customer. I explained this various time. Then the IT infrastructure manager, these are the consulted for their expertise, as name suggested, IT infrastructure. These are the person who we need to consult it for their expertise on system requirement, integration and deployment. Then the next is compliance officer. Well, these are also categorized into consulted for regulatory input, means when we need to take regulatory kind of requirement, then these are the compliance officer are the one for which to whom we will consult. Then the branch manager, these are typically falls under the informed category. See, now these are the someone who are informed category because the LMS will affect their branch operation. They need to keep, they just need, we need to keep them informed. They are not the one who we need to consult. They are not the one who are the decision maker, means they are not the accountable. They are even not the responsible, but we need to inform them because day to day life of their branch is get affected by the loan management system. And the next is customer experience head. Well, the customer experience head falls under the consulted category. Again, these are the consulted category. We will require them during the requirement gathering because they provide important feedback on how loan management system affects customer interaction and satisfaction. Then the cyber security officer, these are someone who are informed about security concern, means they are not directly involved but we need to inform them. And the last one, marketing manager, they are means they are the clear cut choice from the inform category. So in this way we have seen eight different stakeholder with 8 different roles, and as per using the RACI matrix RACI, according to that we have divided them into different category of the stakeholder analysis. Now let us create a chart whatever knowledge we have gained about our stakeholders. So here is the RACI matrix chart. We can see that there on the column, left hand side column, you can see that there is a task or a deliverable where requirement gathering is a task, then functional requirement and definition is task, non-functional requirement is the task, and the first row we have put it all the stakeholder name, and in front of them we have kept whether they are responsible, accountable, consulted or informed. So we will take one or two tasks here because otherwise it will lengthen the process. First is requirement gathering, where we are quite chilled up with requirement gathering now. Who will do the requirement gathering? Amit. Who is Amit? He is the business analyst. Consider yourself. So in front of him R is written, which means that he is responsible. Then Havi. Who is Havi? He is a product manager or project manager. So it is he's accountable. So that's why A is written in front of him. Then other stakeholder like Jessica, Benjamin, then Donna, Louis, Paula, Robert, and Katrina. So the C means consulted. C means consultant, means as a stake as a business analyst, as a responsible for requirement gathering task, we need to consult all the categorized person here, and we need to only inform last two. So in this way we have created a RACI matrix for requirement gathering. Similarly, for the functional requirement and definition, we categorize them into R, into A, into C, into I. We'll jump into second last, deployment. See here some interesting changes. In second last, as a business analyst, now you are converted into informed, and most of the person are now informed, and only 2% are in the responsible category, because deployment is not our work, it is a purely technical work. Developers and other team members, any other technical team do this task. That's why it is all are inform category, and Benjamin and Paul are Benjamin and I guess Robert is there. Those who are a technical person will be responsible for deployment process of the software. But Harvey, who is the product owner, who is the project manager rather, is considered as A, and I specially highlighted A into red, because as I mentioned earlier that there should be only one accountable person in the RACI matrix to avoid the confusion. Now let's wrap up RACI matrix. The RACI matrix is a powerful tool to ensure clarity and accountability across the project. By defining who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed, it minimizes the confusion and keeps everyone aligned, helping the project move forward without a hitch. So now let's move to the last method of stakeholder analysis. Let's see power interest matrix. Power interest matrix is little bit similar with the stakeholder map, but we will build it in a different way. The power interest matrix is a tool used in a stakeholder management to analyze and categorize stakeholder based on their level of power and interest. Power means their ability to influence the project or its outcome. Interest is their level of concern or involvement in the project. This categorization helps project managers and business analysts to prioritize their efforts in managing stakeholder effectively. So I'll just read out here. It is building means plotting the power interest matrix is different. It is kind of 4 different quadrant. You can see high interest, high power, low interest, low power, and each quadrant it means specify their own power versus interest. So very first is high power, low interest. We need to keep satisfied such stakeholder who dropped into this particular quadrant. These stakeholders have high influence but lower day-to-day involvement or interest. Means strategy is there, ensure they remain satisfied with the project without overloading them with the detail. Means we don't give to them too much detail, but they should be satisfied, they should be informed. Then the next is low power, low interest. We just need to monitor them. These stakeholders have minimal influence and a little bit interest in the project. Strategy for them is monitor their involvement and provide updates only when necessary. Then the third category is low power, high interest. So we need to keep inform them. These are the stakeholder are the interested in the project but have limited influence over it success. Well, we can correlate this with stakeholder map. The second method we have seen in this particular tutorial, it almost similar, but only name is different and plotting is different. That's why I have included this thing in the tutorial, so you need not to get confused. You can use the stakeholder map for analyzing the stakeholder. And the last is high power, high interest. We need to manage them closely. These are the stakeholder are critical to the project success. They have significant influence and high invested in its outcome. Strategies engage them actively, provide regular update and involve them in key decision. In short, the power interest matrix is a super handy way to figure out who need to focus on and how to deal with them. It helps you to prioritize your time and energy by showing who has the most influence and who cares the most, so you can keep the right people engaged and avoid any surprises later on. So it's up to you. You want to use power interest matrix or you want to use the stakeholder map, which we have seen as a second method. Now finally, let's conclude this topic. We can say that stakeholder analysis ensures all key players are identified, their influence understood and roles clearly defined. It enables effective communication, minimize risk and helps prioritize engagement, laying the groundwork for smooth execution and project success. It aligns expectation early, reducing conflicts down the line. Ultimately, it builds trust and supports long term collaboration. Well, looks like we have built a solid understanding of stakeholder analysis and the key method used to handle it effectively. In the upcoming tutorial, we will dive into requirements, what they really mean in project, and explore different elicitation techniques to gather them the right way. This is where things start getting even more interesting as we connect with the stakeholders to shape the actual solution. So, leaving you with a final thought before we go. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and drop your question in the comments. And hit that subscribe button and join me on the exciting journey into the world of business analysis. See you in the next one. Thank you very much.